Hi, Shannon here at the Freshwater Institute. Generators are really critical for RAS facilities. Here are some of the things that we check on our generators on a weekly basis. So first, when inspecting your generator, you want to make sure the power is on. So if you come here to the main control unit, you can check your hours that the generator has ran. Um, you can check the coolant temperature. You can check the battery levels. You can check all kinds of different things. Every generator is different. This is how this generator is set up. Uh, this generator also has shutdown warning. So if there's a fault code of any way, you would actually get a fault on here. So we can check all that stuff weekly. So another thing we check for on our generators, we look at the battery, make sure that we don't have too much corrosion. You also look at the date on your battery to see when it was last replaced. Everybody has a recommendation, usually 2 to 3 years. Um, on this side, we'll also be looking at hoses all over the generator, make sure nothing's leaking, nothing's cracked. We'll also pull the dipstick out of the generator to check the oil level to make sure everything looks good, make sure it has the right amount of oil in it. So that's good. So the oil line is there, low, high. And you just really want to visually inspect and see if you notice anything on the generator. Right here you can see the belt. Everything looks good with the belt on this generator. And we'll walk around to the other side and kind of check the same thing. So now on this side, we just kind of want to do the same thing. You can visually see the belt on this side, so you can get a good look at the belt. Everything still looks good on the belt. You have multiple hoses. You're just looking around, checking all the hoses, looking at all the fittings, looking at all the wires that you can see. Make sure nothing's melted, nothing looks out of place. Another thing we do is you'll look at the hoses on the block heater. I like to check the block heater as well. Feel it. You can feel that it's warm. Make sure nothing's melted down here. That looks good. No corrosion or anything where there was heat build up. And you're just visually looking around at all the wires. I can look back in here at the starter. Everything looks good. Nothing's melted. Um, yeah, just try to visually look at everything. We also do a checklist and have all the things to look at and check on our checklist. You can look at your coolant level. You always want to check your coolant level. We've had issues with other generators that use a little coolant on your older generators. All generators are different. You just visually want to see everything you can see and make sure nothing's out of place. We inspect our generators once a week. We also have our generator contractor come out twice a year and look at our generators to make sure everything's good. We service our generators once a year, change the oil, all the fluids, and have all the fluids analyzed as well. That's another important thing with generators is just the upkeep of generators versus just visually inspecting them. Um, it's good to have a contract on your generator, to have somebody on hand to when something does fail with your generator, you can either have it fixed or have a temporary generator brought on site for issues with your generator. These are just some of the things that you will check with generators. And just remember, all generators are different. This one has an electronic display. Some of them are mechanical. Um, but visually also just look around the generator, make sure nothing looks damaged on the outside. These are gas generators, propane. So you just want to look at the regulator, make sure nothing that looks off. You want to check your gas levels on your propane tanks. That's another critical piece. We walk around weekly and make sure all of our propane levels are good for the generators, because if there's no propane, obviously it's not going to start up. Another place you'll go is inside to the transfer switch. Make sure everything looks okay with the transfer switch. Some people cycle their transfer switch more. We always, anytime we have the generator contractor come on site, we have them transfer power, just make sure everything's transferring fine. So this is our transfer switch for the generator that I was just showing you. Just real quick, some of the things on this transfer switch on the display screen. Most of the time they always show this little display. This is saying that this is utility power, and if these lights were lit up, this is generator power, so we were on generator. And these two lights would be off. Not a whole lot here. You can test the generator, the transfer switch, override it, and set the exercise for the transfer switch. So just some of the things that we would visually look at on our transfer switch. Thanks. So here's our 4 buried propane tanks for the generator that I was just showing you. So we would come over here on each tank and look at the top of them. And all you're looking for is the levels of fuel that we have in each tank. We never want to see these really below 30%. If we do see them below 30%, we'll usually call in. Now, sometimes they'll be 25 or so, and we'll just know to call in. There is a monitor on the fuel tanks to automatically call in, but just so we all feel comfortable, we call in when it gets to a certain level. So there's a lot of detail with generators. They're very critical in RAS facilities to keep the water flowing. We don't have everything on generator backup, but most of all of our RAS systems are on generator backup, and we can continuously run when there's a power outage. So here are a lot of just quick tips on this generator of how to just keep it going and maintain and inspect it weekly. Thank you.